Hey guys, welcome to JCal's View, the journey of a journalist, the chronicles of a content creator, the musings of a man who loves professional wrestling. I always get caught up on that one. I'm your host, JCal. This is a very special edition of JCal's View because a couple of reasons. One, I'm simultaneously broadcasting the intro of JCal's View on anchor.fm/JCal. That's where it's being recorded, where you can listen to later. But I'm also recording live on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Alliance Blog. Now, some of you might check this out later, and some of you might not. That's okay. However you digest the content is perfectly fine with me. But today, guys, today is a special day. Today is the day that marks 10 years. 10 years, guys, that I've been in the podcasting business, that I've been broadcasting my thoughts, my views, my opinions to the world about the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. Now, when I started podcasting about the National Wrestling Alliance, the landscape looked completely different than it did today. 10 years ago, there was no All Elite Wrestling. Ring of Honor was one of the top promotions in the United States. New Japan had not quite yet penetrated the market of the United States. So you basically had the WWE with SmackDown and Raw. There was no NXT. The myriad of wrestling promotions that exist today did not. So Major League Wrestling was on its hiatus. Like I said, there was no All Elite Wrestling or anything of that nature. So the NWA was actually a pretty big deal 10 years ago, even though some people would say the NWA died back in, 1994 when Shane Douglas threw the belt down. To me personally, that couldn't be further from the truth. And like I said, for 10 years, I've been covering the National Wrestling Alliance. Were you guys even watching the NWA 10 years ago? I was. And you know who was champion at that time? Blue Demon Jr. And you know who his chief rivals were? Scrap Iron, Adam Pearce, Old School, Oliver John. And Blue Demon defended that title in the UK. He defended it I believe in Spain. I think it was Spain. But mostly in Southern California and Northern California. So the NWA history is very rich. We all know this. And like I said, for 10 years I've been documenting the history of the National Wrestling Alliance via the podcast. And so today is very special for me. And I'm going to do something I swore I never would do. I'm going to let you guys hear the first podcast that I ever recorded. It was pretty terrible. So I will accept your criticism later. Please poke fun in a very nice and polite way because I do have feelings. I am a man, damn it, but I'm a man who has a heart. So guys, after the break, listen to the podcast, listen to the very first episode of Alliance Wrestling Radio. And for you guys watching on Twitch, head over to anchor.fm/J-Cal so you could hear the misery and complete terrible production of the first ever JCal podcast.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Alliance-Wrestling.com radio show. I'm your host, JCal. And if you want to call in, the number is 646-478-3019. Amidst all the controversy of the NWA World title, that's exactly what I plan on speaking about today. Again, this is the Alliance-Wrestling.com radio show. We do have a website that's www.alliance-wrestling.com. That's www.alliance-wrestling.com. Please check it out. We do cover the entirety of the NWA, and we blog constantly. First, talking about the NWA World Championship, Blue Demon coming off a successful defense in August against Super Crazy and Oliver John, the Heritage Heavyweight Champion. But a match was scheduled originally for later this month, October 24th, between Blue Demon and the Sheik. So, to break it down, whether it's in English or Spanish, one could hardly examine the internet wrestling landscape without coming across the explosive controversy between the Sheik and NWO World Champion Blue Demon. The controversy is being covered by Wrestling Insider, Online World of Wrestling, WrestleView, and I found this funny, even in the Celebrity Dirty Laundry. And it's an ongoing discussion at alliance-wrestling.com, and its message board. A quick look at Google will reveal headlines such as "The Sheik denied chance for first world belt," or "World title controversy and the Jonas Brothers." Yes, those Jonas Brothers. Well, what this all leads up to is something that the NWA hasn't had in some time, a rivalry worthy of national coverage. Blue Demon defeated Adam Pearce in Mexico with lots of fanfare. He was the first Mexican-born wrestler to win the NWA World title. He's also the first masked wrestler to ever hold the championship belt. And Blue Demon would go on to defeat challengers in Mexico and in the United States. Demon has victories over the luchador that Bret Hart never doubts, El Dandy. Scott Lost, standout from Southern California, wrestles in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, NWA Pro Promotions, SoCal Pro Wrestling, Empire Wrestling Federation, Alternative Wrestling Show, former NWA World Tag Team Champion and the man who was bringing Sleazy back everywhere he goes, Joey Ryan, and former WWE wrestler and international sensation, Super Crazy. However, Blue Demon's most polarizing opponent has been the NWA Heritage Champion, Oliver John, and that's who he's defended his title against mostly. But going back to this match that was originally billed as the first NWA Lucha Chicago event, the now non-existent promotion was to feature a world championship match between Blue Demon and this new challenger, the Sheik. The Sheik labored for the past 12 years in Florida and Puerto Rico to create an opportunity to face the world's champion. After winning the Pro Wrestling Fusion Florida Heavyweight Champion, the Sheik thought he would be able to cash in his hard work and determination for a world title shot. The Sheik's home wrestling promotion, PWF, was even sending out press releases in hopes of creating a buzz for this matchup. And the buzz it did create. The match was scheduled to take place on October 24th, but, and it's a big but, folks, due to irreconcilable differences between NWA Midwest promoter Ed Schumann and local promoter Danny Nieves, NWA Chicago closed shop before it even opened. So where did that leave us? Well, that left one title match out of the picture and two bookings off the books. The Sheik was quoted as saying, "I've seen him in photos with American stars like the Jonas Brothers. I've seen him on television programs rubbing elbows with the rich and famous while I train in a dungeon." The Sheik added, "Blue Demon Jr. is a paper champion and a coward." Now, those are some pretty harsh words, folks. Blue Demon has defended that title throughout the Southwest in Texas, Arizona, Northern and Southern California, Mexico. He even had matches in Toronto and in England and Europe last year. Demon, who is known to heel it up sometimes, came back at the Sheik by saying he had no idea who the Sheik even was, and perhaps to send him a business card and a resume so he can figure out who he is. Unbelievable, folks. The Sheik has been spending the past 12 years building a legacy of destruction and devastation, and it's no wonder that the Demon doesn't know who the Sheik is. But, the Sheik did see Demon at the NWA showcase tapings in Hollywood earlier this year. The Sheik has also been in such promotions as the short-lived NWA Charlotte. The Sheik has traveled through the Midwest. For Blue Demon not to know who the Sheik is, it just can't be. The champ also went on to say that, he is not responsible for booking title matches. The NWA is. So it's not up to him who he faces. He faces whoever the NWA booking puts in front of Demon. He also pointed out in the PWI rankings that, there's Scotty Mack, there is Super Crazy, there is Adam Pearce, there is the national champion Phil Shatter, North American champion El Gran Apollo, but there is no Sheik in that top 10. And those are the official rankings of the NWA by PWI, the magazine. Ultimately, folks, the world title picture was beginning to look a little stale anyways. Adam Pearce has yet to cash in his world title shot. Oliver John has had a match after match and has failed to capture the world title. It seems now would be the appropriate time to introduce new blood into the world title division. The accolades of the Sheik shouldn't go unnoticed. He did defeat the former Pro Wrestling Fusion Florida champion Steve Madison to win the Florida heavyweight title. He's also recently had victories over Too Cold Scorpio. And, the guy has been putting in the work. He's been traveling. It's time to make this match happen, whether it be in the NWA Southwest, NWA Pro, or even in Pro Wrestling Fusion, the sanctioned Florida wrestling promotion by NWA Midwest. This match needs to happen. This could be the most talked about challenge since Bryan Danielson challenged Christian Cage for the NWA World title. And if promoted correctly, there could be a significant match. There could be this. Let me try that again, folks. If promoted correctly, this match could hold the most significance in the modern history of the NWA. We have no callers, so again, that number is 646-478-3019. Again, the number is 646-478-3019. Going on to our next topic, something we're going to do here on alliance-radio.com, the radio show, is to spotlight an NWA promotion. Now, there's one promotion in the NWA that is gaining a lot of credibility and notoriety, and that promotion would be NWA on Fire. NWA on Fire promotes the NWA name and brand in Maine and in Connecticut. They used to tour in New Jersey as well, but things have changed since then. The NWA on Fire was first started with Ricky O, and Dave Marquez as NWA Liberty States, and were previously known as NWA Pro East. So there is some history there, folks. The NWA on Fire was an extension of the Liberty States, and they were joined with the Savoldis, the former ICW and IWCCW fame. The Savoldis were most recently producing IWA Puerto Rico. They were doing a lot of the television and promoting the shows out there in Puerto Rico. When that relationship between the Savoldis and IWA Puerto Rico soured, the four partners put out a new product focusing on the talents of NWA in New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and Maine. Stars of the NWA on Fire include NWA North American Champion, as we previously spoke of, El Gran Apollo, NWA on Fire Heavyweight Champion Bobby Robinson, who recently took that title off of Apollo, former WCW and New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler Rick Fuller, NWA on Fire Tag Team Champions, the Latin Hit Squad, the Logan Brothers, and former NWA World Junior Champion Jason Rumble. Also such greats like the great Malachi and Macau, the Samoan Savage. NWA on Fire also has started to use former WWE, well, let's call it what it is, former WWF World Champion Bob Backlund, as Mr. Backlund has made several appearances for the Northeast promotion. NWA on Fire has local television, which they also make available at their website, NWAonfire.com. The On Fire program can be watched in Portland on WPME on Fridays at 10 p.m. and in Bagger on WVFX Fox 22 Saturdays at 1 p.m. in Maine. In Hartford, Connecticut, it can be seen on WHCP TV Azteca Fridays at 11 p.m. In Los Angeles, California, my home city state, KNLA 27, Channel 27, Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Sundays 12 p.m. In San Juan, Puerto Rico on WRFB Channel 52 on Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Allentown, Pennsylvania on Latin Unlimited Thursdays 10 p.m. and Sundays 10 a.m. The NWA On Fire program is one of maybe two promotions in the NWA that focus on the bilingual audience, the folks who speak Spanish and English. NWA On Fire has a distinction along with NWA Pro Wrestling Revolution, who we will be spotlighting later in the future. Also, there was some great news out of NWA On Fire recently. Brian Webster announced, Brian Webster is one of the announcers for NWA On Fire. He announced that they have a deal in place to produce pay-per-views for in-demand pay-per-view beginning in the new year 2010. There's also speculation that the shows will include matches from the vault of ICW and IWCW with fresh matches from NWA On Fire. The NWA On Fire's next events will be November 13th and 14th in Maine and on the 21st in Connecticut. You can check out the NWA On Fire website by visiting www.nwaonfire.com. Well, this is going to wrap it up, folks. Thank you for listening. Again, my name is Jay Cal, and you've been listening to the You've been listening to the Alliance-Wrestling.com radio show. We are fans of the NWA, and we blog about the NWA. And if you haven't already, please check out our website at www.alliance.com. Let me try that again, www.alliance-wrestling.com, and we look forward to seeing you there. In the meantime, thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy this podcast. Thank you.
So what's the problem with your car?
Shutter.
So when does it happen?
Once a month. When I see my payment, I start shaking.
Ah, well, you got an interest rate issue.
Yeah.
Well, here's a pro tip. You may be able to refinance your auto loan with Westcom Credit Union. As a member-owned financial co-op, Westcom offers great low rates.
Wow, Westcom sounds like a smart move.
Yeah, just like changing your oil.
Westcom. The best bank for you may not be a bank at all. Westcom is an equal opportunity lender and federally insured by NCUA. Certain terms may apply.
They say soccer is the football of the rest of the world. Only soccer's championship lasts an entire month. Now we're talking. And there's no better place to spend that month than at Buffalo Wild Wings. Get into B-Dubs, where we've got Matchday Select domestic beer specials and a special sauce mashup to go along with our already loaded roster of 21 sauces and seasonings. That's enough combinations for a full month's worth of delicious cheering. Catch all the soccer action at Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Offers vary by location.
10 years of podcasting, 12 years of chronicling the entirety of the National Wrestling Alliance. Guys, this ride has been quite the journey, and I'm not ready to stop anytime soon. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast and then join us on this journey by subscribing to our YouTube channels, our Twitch channels. You can find all of the follow, subscribe, all that good stuff at the Alliance blog. Coming later today, we're hoping to put out the audio edition of the latest NWA Power Review for episode 2, and hopefully we'll get episode 3 up either today or tomorrow, sometime this week. But until then, hey, we'll see you at the matches.